Happy Easter, everyone. If you're new with us today, I'm Pastor Leslie Woods. Welcome to Unity Church of Austin. And we are indeed on holy ground. We've moved through this Holy Week together, and even all the way back to when we were celebrating Christmas, we have walked through Bethlehem, Jerusalem, the Sea of Galilee, Gethsemane, the Jordan River, holy ground. And there is no spot that God is not. So today, wherever you are, you're standing on holy ground. In Austin, Texas, United States of America, I'm standing on holy ground. And I look back at what it must have been like this day, especially from the perspective of Mary Magdalene and everyone who went to anoint his body, to start the end of their grieving process, and to get there, and the tomb is completely empty. I couldn't imagine the confusion, the anger, the frustration, the where is he, how dare they take him away, all of that. And I look back at our expectations because nothing went completely as expected. We kind of wanted this warrior, a liberator, someone to fix everything, someone to be the king, to rule everything, and then he was crucified. And even all of this didn't come quite as we anticipated, because the resurrection happened. And so I would imagine that if someone saw the resurrected Christ, they may go, oh, well, now that he's overcome death, then things can get fixed. Like, okay, we've got this now. We've moved to like superpower mode. But Jesus had a history of flipping the script. And I look at, when I think of what we might have wanted then, was like when you watch the superhero movies and you've got the superhero that just combated all evil and fixed everything, and the rubble's behind them and they're walking with that majestic walk up, right? It's kind of what we thought might have happened. But what happened was, instead, the risen Christ continued his ministry post-mortem for a little bit. And I was going through the scriptures of the many different ways and the times that he made himself known to his disciples. And he continued that same energy of teaching, guiding, empowering, challenging, directing. And as he appeared to the disciples as the resurrected teacher, he kept that movement going. It is this beginning, this birth of this ministry called The Way. And yet they fully, completely relied on Jesus. They still expected him to be the leader, him to do like all of the things. And we reminded ourselves on Good Friday that with our 12 powers, that sometimes we forget that we have faith. Sometimes we forget that we have wisdom. And we get very much like caught in our humanness a lot. I do it. And he left this scripture that stood out to me. And I'm going to adjust where I'm looking because I can't see that far. And behold, I am sending the promise of my Father upon you. But stay in the city until you are clothed with the power from on high. Jesus gave us a Superman cape. Stay until you're clothed with the power on high. And I don't think it's metaphorical, like we weren't going to get the big, long red thing. But we have these innate Christ powers within us because God is part of us. We are an expression of that divine Christ. The Christ consciousness has always been with us. Always. And Jesus' ministry was to teach us that, to empower us, to have us recognize that we are part of this world, that the kingdom is at hand, and we are that kingdom. We are part of that kingdom. And with this, we are given the power to rise above circumstances. Because all the circumstances that are there are temporary. None of this will last eternally. But I keep thinking of the significance of the burial shroud that was left. The materialism of all things that are stagnant, not speaking of loving kindness, gentleness, peace, sovereignty, solace. And so we can leave those things behind, let them be. And I was looking through this, I was reminded of when I was little. And see, sometimes as adults, we have to bring out our inner child because when you're a child, you don't know that you have limits. So much so that we test them, don't we? You forget that you have limits. So, my superhero at the time was Wonder Woman. All I needed was my jump rope and a roll of toilet paper that I cut in half again and colored that sucker yellow, and bam, bam, I was ready to save the world. So imagine that superhero that you have in you. You have the power of power. You have the power of strength, the power of wisdom, the power of love. When we keep waiting, Jesus told us this whole time, it's you. It's you, boo. It is. Strength, zeal, order, will, love, wisdom, life, faith, understanding, power, release, and imagination. It's too small to call them characteristics. That's why Charles Fillmore called them powers. Because it is different aspects of us, and I would imagine that there are probably more powers, but he ran out of disciples. But I would lay odds that humor can be a good power. And this is part of who we are. This is when Jesus told you that you are the light of the world. He meant it. When Jesus said, you can do all the things that I can do and more, he meant it. I rarely, looking through scriptures, read where Jesus said, something, something, something. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not right. No, he spoke with intention, with determination, because he meant it. And sometimes if he was really, really wanting you to pay attention, he would say, verily, I tell you. Book of John is full of those. But he's saying, like, when we have kids and they're not paying attention, and this is something in our household that we do, it's like, look at me. Pay attention. Eye-to-eye contact. I need you to know that you're the light of the world. I need you to know that you can do all the things that I can do and more. Because if we're waiting for the superhero to change things, we've forgotten who we are. You have the power of love. You have the power of peace. You have the power to make the world better. With our Christ power, stones are still rolling. They could be pebbles, they could be boulders, they could be whatever it is. So what burial shroud are you going to leave behind? self-doubt. I don't have enough. There's other things beyond my control that have more power than me. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Don't let anybody steal your happiness. It's time to rise up. What are we waiting for? I'm not waiting anymore. We have that power to be a light in this world. We have that power that when someone comes near our presence, that they can feel the energy of God in us and through us and moving as us. We could be that beacon where people know, I'm safe here. I'm loved here. I'm empowered here. And if everybody felt safe, loved, and empowered, then I think those things of lack would slowly start to dissipate. Because that's all they are. And so this Easter Sunday, while we are sitting in amongst and standing on holy ground, celebrate the resurrection of Jesus the Christ. Celebrate that resurrection that is within you, that lets your light shine brighter than 13 candles on a table. I see that in every one of you. Shine on, y'all.